So we're starting. This is just 5 minutes past 4. Welcome to University of Ghana and welcome to this course. My name is Dr. Emmanuel Ani. I'm your lecturer for this course. The title of this course is Critical Thinking and Practical Reasoning. This is one of those courses that has been designed to improve your method of reasoning. So our focus on this course is to learn how to reason well. Reasoning well involves arguing well, solving problems, taking decisions, making claims, constructing arguments. You're going to see all of that this semester in this course. So I can tell you from the beginning that this course is a very exciting one. And I think you guys are fortunate, just like I was fortunate to pass through this course. So welcome everyone. Before I begin, I want to find out if everyone can hear me. Can you hear what I say?
Yes, sir.
Am I loud and clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay, that's great. So let's move ahead. Now, we can just take a brief look at the course outline. I'm going to our Sakai page, our course on the Sakai page. So this is Accra City Campus, Group 10. That's me, the lecturer. That's my email. And that's your teaching assistant, your tutor, Benis Ajay. That's our email. And this is the course description. So we can just say a few general things about the course concerning the description before we move on. Now, take a look at the first sentence in the overview. Critical thinking is a careful, deliberate determination of whether we should accept, reject, or suspend judgment about a claim and of the degree of confidence with which to accept and reject it. So this course is really about making claims, presenting claims, offering claims, accepting and rejecting claims, evaluating claims, and all that. Now, claims are supposed to be supported with reasons or with information or with evidence. When you are making a claim, you are normally required to defend it or to support it. When you make a claim, we would ask you why you made the claim. If you say, for instance, that the Ghana economy is doing badly, it is a claim. And then we'll ask you, how did you arrive at that claim? Then you start explaining. You give us the explanations, you provide the statistics, the indices, all the analysis, both past and present. So all those things are supposed to support or defend your claim that the Ghana economy is bad. So when you make a claim, you're supposed to defend it or support it with reasons. And then others are supposed to evaluate the claim to know whether the claim has a high quality, whether it is a claim of high quality. Others are supposed to evaluate the quality and the accuracy of the claim by examining the cogency of the reasons you have given. So this course is about the quality of arguments, the accuracy of arguments, claims, conclusions, and all that. Now, having said that, let's look at the course format. The course will be delivered online, so we'll be having videos. By at the end of each class, I will post our videos, and normally I record our classes so that those who didn't attend the classes can just watch the videos, and then that's it. They wouldn't be missing anything. Now, at the end of this course, we are hoping that we have made some gains. For instance, in the area of knowledge, we are hoping that, number one, we would learn how to distinguish different types of arguments. Number two, we would at least know the value and significance of each type of reasoning. Number 3, we would know why it is necessary to examine one's own thoughts and how to categorize the sentences that explain them. Number 4, we would know the difference between empirical and normative judgments and so on. So you can, at your convenient time, go through this course overview and then get the information that is important. There will be a number of assessments. We'll have 2 assignments. Each one is 10 marks. The 2 of them are 20 marks, rather 20%. And then we'll have the mid-semester test. That will be 30%. So 30% plus 20% is 50%. And then we'll have the final exam, which is 50%. 50% plus 50% is 100%. And then this is the timetable for the topics. So this week, and particularly in this class, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at thoughts as objects of scrutiny. If you look at the right column, about the lessons, we have introduction to critical thinking. That's what we're doing right now. Review of the course outline. That's what I'm doing right now. Distinguishing types of sentence shaped thoughts. That's what I'm going to do in a few seconds. Recognizing sentence fragments and emotive expressions, identifying different types of declarative sentences, contrasting facts and values. So I think we're going to start that right away. We'll be doing the rest of these topics for our subsequent classes. So let's go straight away to our slides and begin the business of the day. Today we're looking at speech acts. Speech acts. What is a speech act? A speech act is an utterance that performs a certain function in language and communication. We perform speech acts when we ask questions, when we make a request, when we make a proposition, when we make a judgment, when we express emotions, and so on. A speech act may be one word, it may be a complete sentence, or it may be an incomplete sentence. So a speech act is literally anything that, any audible sound that emerges from between your lips. So even if you say, that's a speech act, the question is, what is the function of the speech act? So when we are discussing the function of speech acts, then we'll begin to categorize speech acts into different groups. So we have questions, we have requests, we have propositions, we have judgments, we have emotional expressions. They are the different kinds of speech acts. So let's begin to look at the types of speech acts one by one. That is our primary business for this class. Types of speech acts. Interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentences are what we normally call questions. They end in a question mark. The purpose of interrogative sentences is to solicit or require information from someone. So interrogative sentences are questions. When you ask a question, you are expecting an answer. So that is why we say the purpose of interrogative sentences is to solicit or require information from someone. So example of interrogative sentences. Do you have the keys to the door? How are you doing this morning? What is your name? So these are examples of questions or interrogative sentences or interrogatives. They are generated to solicit information. They are generated to get an answer. Then we have the imperative sentences. Imperatives are sentences spoken to require someone to do something or undertake certain actions. So imperatives are spoken to solicit action. Now, so whilst interrogatives are spoken to solicit information, imperatives are spoken to solicit action. Now, there are various imperatives. We have commands, instructions, directives, requests, and pleas. So we have both soft and hard imperatives. Now, the hard imperatives include command, directive, but the soft imperatives include a request and a plea. Now, look at the definitions of each of them. A command is used to offer authoritative or dictatorial order for something to be done. An instruction is a direction or order used to guide someone to do something. A directive is an authoritative order used to establish a policy, assign responsibilities, define a set of objectives, and delegate authority to someone to do something. A request is an act of asking politely or formally for something to be done. A plea is a supplication for a certain action or decision to be taken. So you can see the various types of imperatives according to the tone in which they are presented. Then we have examples of imperatives. So we have examples of different kinds of imperatives. You have the hard and soft imperatives. Number one, clear this desk by tomorrow. That sounds like a hard imperative. Please water the plant. That sounds like a softer imperative. And then you have the rest. Drive to the junction and turn right. Do not turn over the next page and so forth. So these are examples of different types of imperatives. Then we have the declarative sentences or the declaratives. Declaratives are sentences that convey information. So they can therefore be true or false. Now, so this is a third kind of speech act. So we had said that interrogatives are generated to solicit information, and imperatives are spoken to solicit action. But declaratives are spoken to provide information, to convey information. And when you provide information, the information you've provided can be true or false. So for that reason, declaratives can be true or false. Declarative sentences are spoken to make a statement. So you can also say that, you can say that declaratives are also called statements. Declaratives end in a period or what we call a full stop. In logic, declarative sentences are called propositions. So you can say that declaratives are also called propositions. Declaratives include the following: factual statements, value judgments, definitions, and arguments. Now, out of these four, the second half of the semester is designed to study only arguments. So for this class, we'll just discuss factual statements, value judgments, and definitions. Factual statements. A factual statement or a statement of fact is an expression that conveys information about the state of affairs in the external world. So a factual statement tells us about facts in the external world. It is true if it conveys accurate information about facts, and it is false if the factual information is inaccurate. So examples of factual statements: grass is green, snow is white. These are factual statements. That man is the current provost of the College of Arts and Culture. Now, these factual statements, you can only disprove them by providing alternative facts. So if you say that grass is not green, you have to provide evidence of grass that is not green. You have to provide evidence of grass that is another color, maybe white, black, or red. If you say that snow is not white, you have to present evidence of snow that is not white. If you say that this man is not the current provost of the College of Humanities, of Arts and Culture, then you have to provide documents that show that he is not the current provost. So you accept or reject factual statements by verification, by verifying the facts. So what it means is that factual statements are verifiable. Then we go to definitions. Definitions are sentences spoken to convey information about the meaning of a word or words. So the job of definitions is to provide us with the meaning of a word or of words. For example, a lion is a large carnivorous feline mammal of Africa and northwest India, having a short tawny coat, a tufted tail, and in the male, a heavy mane around the neck and shoulders. Now, this is the definition of a lion. You can see that it is not a factual statement. It doesn't tell you about lions. It just tells you what it means to be a lion, at least physically. Then the second example, a bed is a piece of furniture upon which a person sleeps. So it's not a factual statement. It doesn't tell you about beds. It tells you the meaning of a bed, or what it is to be a bed. So that's the job of definitions. Then we go to value judgment. A value judgment or statement is a claim about something's moral, practical, or aesthetic value or suitability. Now, so value judgments are, they are not factual statements. They are statements about people's values. They are claims about something's moral, practical, or aesthetic value or suitability. Value judgments do not describe the world like factual statements do. Rather, value judgments prescribe certain attitudes and behaviors towards the world. Value judgments are concerned with prescribing how the world ought to be, rather than describing how the world actually is. So factual statements describe the world as it is. They tell you how things are. But value judgments prescribe how the world should be. Value judgments say something about how things should be done, how the world should be, how the world should not be, what should be done, what should not be done, how things should be, how things should not be, what ought to be, what ought not to be. So all those things are values. They are values of what people regard as right and wrong, good and bad, beautiful and ugly, all those. So all those things are what we call values. Example, that is right, that is wrong, Michael is a good man, Jezebel has no conscience. So you can see that these are all value judgments. They are not factual statements. They are value judgments. Two types of value judgments. We have moral and non-moral value judgments. The moral value judgments are claims about something's moral suitability or otherwise. The moral value judgments are claims about something's moral value. Example or examples. Abortion is evil. This statement condemns the value of abortion. The second example, do not commit adultery. The third one, do not insult your spouse. So these are value judgments. Then we have the non-moral value judgments. They are claims about something's practical or aesthetic suitability or value. Now, so we have values that are not moral values, but they are values that we also cherish a lot. Let's see these examples. Ofori is an excellent student. Now, excellence is not a moral value, but excellence is a value that we cherish a lot, even though it is not a moral value. To be hardworking is not also a moral value, but we cherish it. To be productive is not a moral value, but to cherish it. To be efficient is not a moral value, but to cherish it. To be strong is not a moral value, but to cherish it. To be reliable is not a moral value, but to cherish it. To be durable is not a moral value, but to cherish it a lot. So there are many non-moral values that people cherish. Ofori is an excellent student. That shirt is too tight on you. Now, so the tightness of some clothing or how fitting a clothing is also a value because it relates to how the clothing is serving you. A piece of clothing is supposed to protect you from the weather, and it's also supposed to make you look good. So for it to be too tight is a value judgment. It's a non-moral value judgment. And then that car is beautiful. That car is beautiful. Yeah, Sylvester.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Please, I wanted to know about the factual statement that the grass is green. Is it that if you oppose only that you need to explain or? Hello, sir.
Yeah, so you need to repeat your question because it wasn't loud.
Please, I said about the factual statement.
Yeah.
With the examples given.
Yes.
Yeah. Only if you oppose that you need to elaborate your. Like the example that you gave to us, that grass is green. Only if you oppose that grass is not green, that you need to explain.
Yeah, grass is not green. If you say grass is not green, you have to prove it. You have to prove by if you say that grass is not green, you have to present a contrary evidence. Yeah, so factual statements can be accepted or rejected based on verification and presentation of evidence. So it is only with evidence that we can accept or reject factual statements. Okay, so we've seen the moral and non-moral values. So let's go ahead and look at emotive expressions. Emotive expressions are sentences that express feelings. Emotive expressions that show strong feeling may often end in exclamation mark. But this is not always the case for all emotive expressions. So examples of emotive expressions: I love that guy. I hate how she dresses. We hope you win the tournament. Hallelujah. So these are expressions of feelings. They are not really like logical arguments. So they are not expressions that you agree or disagree with, or the expressions that you accept or reject. If someone says, I love that guy, you can't say you are wrong. You know, it's not an argument. It's just an expression of a feeling. Or if someone says, I hate how she dresses, you know, she's just expressing a feeling, you know. If someone says, I hope you win the tournament, you don't say you are wrong. Hoping is not something that is right or wrong. It's just a feeling. Or if someone says hallelujah, you don't say you are wrong, because hallelujah, that's an expression of, you know, it's an expression of a feeling, how someone feels, a state of mind. You know. So that's why they are called emotional expressions. They don't really have logical characteristics. So they are not always capable of logical analysis because they are expressions of feelings. You know. So emotional expressions are usually excluded from logical analysis. They are not normally relevant in logic. Then we have sentence fragments. Sentence fragments are incomplete sentences lacking either noun or verb. Sometimes sentence fragments act as signposts to show direction or to advertise a product. So incomplete sentences, Desmond for Parliament, Yam with sauce, your dream house. So the first example is lacking in what? I think it is lacking in a verb. So you can see what is lacking in the others. So that's for sentence fragment. So we are done with the different kinds of speech acts. Now we need to do some exercises. Before I proceed with these exercises, I want to know if your group has selected a course rep. Have you guys selected a course rep?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so you have a course rep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now I've confirmed you have a course rep. Now let's do the exercises and then we can end the class. So for the first set of questions, rewrite the emotive expressions as value judgments. So these are emotive expressions and we should convert them to value judgments. So the first one, what a beautiful lady. It's an emotive expression. Convert it to a value judgment. Anyone? Can anyone convert this emotive expression to a value judgment? You can raise your hand and then you can proceed. Yeah, Sylvester, do you want to do the conversion?
Can you put it as the lady is beautiful?
Yeah, the lady is beautiful. That's correct.
Thank
So
you, sir.
someone else for the second. How kind he is. Go ahead, Nathaniel.
He is kind.
He's kind. That's correct. Someone else should answer the third one. What an extremely delightful journey. Okay, Nathaniel, go ahead. Or Sylvester, or Teresa.
The journey was extremely delightful.
The journey was extremely delightful. Now rewrite the imperative sentences below as interrogative sentences. So let's convert some imperatives to interrogatives. So shut your mouth up is an imperative. Can you convert it to an interrogative? Teresa.
Yes, that's what I was going.
Convert it to an interrogative. Shut your mouth up. Nathaniel.
Can you shut your mouth up?
Can you shut your mouth up? So can you shut your mouth up or will you shut your mouth up?
Okay.
Next one. Mess this.
Could you speak loudly?
Could you speak loudly? The third one. Next person, answer the third one. Is that Sylvester? Okay.
Can you get up quickly and read your book?
Yeah, can you get up quickly and read your books, or will you get up quickly and read your books? So that's fine. Now, when you look at these sentences, you see that even after you've converted them to interrogatives, they still do the work of imperatives. So the interrogative, will you shut your mouth up? It appears like an interrogative, but it still does the function of an imperative. So it is performing both functions. So if you are to say which one it is, whether it is an interrogative or an imperative, it means you have to decide whether the structure is more important or the function of the sentence is more important. So if I'm to ask you which one is more important, is it the structure of the sentence or is it the function of the sentence? Nathaniel?
It's the function of the sentence.
Yeah, the sentence, so the function. So the function is more important. There is this distinction between means and end. There is a distinction between means and end. So which one is the means and which one is the end? Is it the structure or the function? So I think the structure of the sentence is more like a means, and the function of the sentence is the end, because the sentence is designed to perform a certain function. So the end is always more important than a means. So if you are told to choose between whether an interrogative, a sentence with a question mark is an interrogative or an imperative, you can say it's an imperative, but nobody is going to subject you to that kind of test. So I don't think any of us will ask you whether a particular sentence is an interrogative or an imperative. Then the last sentence, the last exercise, rewrite the following interrogative sentences as statements of fact. So convert from interrogative to factual statement. The first one is Amma playing football? Nathaniel?
Amma playing football.
Amma is playing football. Then next person for the next one. Will someone else convert the second one? Yeah, Hayford, go ahead. And then Sylvester will convert the third one.
Sir, he has finished his homework.
He has finished his homework. That's correct. And then the third one, next person, is that Sylvester? Yeah, that's Sylvester.
The match is coming.
Yeah,
The match is coming up.
Okay, yeah, so the match is coming off today. The match is coming off today. So that's correct. So that brings us.
The match is coming up today.
Okay, that's correct. So we've come to the end of our exercises today. So now we have a time to ask questions based on what we've just done. If anyone has questions, you can proceed. All those who raise their hands because they wanted to do the exercises, you can bring down your hands so that I will see only the hands of those who want to ask questions. Sylvester, do you want to ask a question? Okay, so if no questions are coming, then I will make some comments before we close. So I'm going to upload the recording of this class on our Sakai site, that's Group 10 City Campus. so that anyone who missed this class can watch the video. So all our classes are going to be uploaded on our Sakai site so that those who did not attend those classes can watch the videos. So thank you very much. I am wishing all of you a very pleasant weekend. So we shall be meeting on Monday when we shall do the second class. I will announce the time we'll meet on Monday, probably by Monday morning. So those of you who cannot attend that class, you just watch the video, and that's the advantage of online teaching. You know. So thank you very much. I wish all of you a very happy weekend.
See you, sir.